Mm.
how do you get things done? So, how's the parents? How's your husband doing? Talk about that. I want to get you warmed up. Talk about that personal side of things. Tell people more about
Mm-hmm.
you. I mean, the 20 people that you have, that's fantastic. But talk about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as someone whose parents are a little older, like it's really so apparent to me why so much of what I'm doing now matters, right? Because in our 70s, we don't necessarily get the same chance to kind of rewrite history. And so setting the foundation now, making it part of your lifestyle now, you don't need to be lifting 6 days a week. You can lift for, 3, 4 days a week, even twice a week, studies show can be vastly beneficial, right? Prioritizing whole foods, saying no, drinking less alcohol. I mean, there is, we say that these things are hard now. Nothing is as hard as not being able to go to the toilet by yourself, as physically not being strong enough, right, to walk across a room. And I think that until you start to see that, and until you see some of your loved ones, right, grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles go through things like that, it's really easy to say tracking my food is hard. And as soon as you're hit with any of these other things, you're like, yeah, right. Like, how dare I? And so I'm kind of in that stage of life where I'm really I don't have a lot of room for bullshit or nonsense, but it's at the same token, it's also not holding myself to an unrealistic standard. The studies show it's least minimum dose, right? Least minimum dose in the gym, as much food as possible, and then in balance is somewhat overrated, but keeping the long-term vision, right, on my horizon, it's to live well, age well, and love how I look and help other women.
What is the deal?
Yeah. So I'm getting my doctorate in sports nutrition and exercise science. Earlier this year, we saw that the black box warning on HRT has come off. Essentially, the studies that were linking HRT to heart disease, cancer, were deemed insufficient to continue this warning, right? So the risks are no longer what we all have been told. And so ultimately, what that means is that more women should be prescribed HRT. And there are actually more compelling studies that say it's even preventative, right? It will help prevent osteoporosis. It will help prevent vasomotor issues. It'll help prevent heart disease. And so the idea that for so long women have now come to accept the symptoms, right? The very realities of menopause and perimenopause as their new normal, it's not really acceptable anymore. And in my program, what I frequently am telling women is, you don't deserve to feel like this anymore. And what I keep getting back sometimes is this assumption that they don't actually deserve to feel as good as possible. They should be learning to live with these symptoms, just like the doctors who have been gaslighting them about them for years. Or that menopause is a natural occurrence, even though we all know that just because something is natural does not mean we need to suffer through it. And what the bigger piece actually is that testosterone replacement is still extremely taboo, even though there isn't any literature remotely like HRT showing anything negative. It is simply women convinced that they will turn into men. But ultimately, and like we're going to talk about later, I think that fear of what they say is actually just a mask of, I don't actually want to see what I'm capable of because I've never been there. So that's scary.
Hormone replacement for men. But is
Mhm.
that true? Have you seen that where the testosterone is it's been like, oh no, it's like the girl, it's like the women in the gym who are afraid to lift anything because I'm going to get bulky.
Mm.
Right thing, right? Same kind of thought process.
Yeah, so testosterone replacement, testosterone is a controlled substance, so even for men. But what you will find is, Tom, you could literally walk into a salon today that probably specializes in Botox, and testosterone replacement for men is probably an option, a menu on that menu. Whereas a woman has to go to a medical doctor who will then prescribe it. Testosterone is not approved for women, I believe, by the FDA in America, but we know that women are still replacing with it, and that as long as the dosing is correct and we are following proper procedures, right, actually listening to our bodies, if that, just like with anything else, then supplementing what you're supposed to have is not a problem. And women are afraid, like you said, of becoming bulky, of becoming manly. I have only ever had one client who took too much by accident, and she noticed her hair was growing a little faster. Like it's still like anything else. You have to actively take too much, just like a sleeping pill, just like a zinc supplement, just like allergy medicine, to have it become a problem if you have a true deficiency as reported on blood work.
So let's finish the HRT TRT thing because that's a big
Mm-hmm.
topic, and it's like women are just like pushed to the side and it's always last to find out. But things are changing thanks to people like you.
Yeah.
And what have you seen so far that is encouraging you that things are actually moving in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that, what's that saying? It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. You have to take it on yourself to find a provider who will listen. You have to get your blood work done. You have to be your best advocate because no one's going to do it for you. I mean, I have women in the program, I've begged them to get blood work done and they still haven't done it, right? So you have to be the one to say, I am no longer accepting severe night sweats from too much estrogen. Really bad anxiety and poor sleep from not enough progesterone, terrible memory or brain fog from testosterone, right? Like you have to be the one to say, this is not normal. I'm not willing to accept it. And then, yeah, you probably will have to shop around, unfortunately, right now for the state of how women's healthcare is. But it's also complaining about it isn't productive. So you need to find the right partner and someone who will really allow you to understand and optimize, right? Like I said, even if you can find someone to help you, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to recommend the right dose, the right vehicle, the right frequency. That's still on you to figure that out. And having someone who can coach you through that, say, this is normal, that isn't, let's get repeat blood work. Your provider should also be not renewing your subscription until medication, right? Unless you're actually getting blood work done every 3 months. There's all those nuances, right? That should be in place, just like any other treatment.
All right. Look
Mm,
at Sarah's Instagram and you tell me what you see with her. Okay. Talk about your workouts because you're one of
mm-hmm.
the fittest women I know. You have
Thank
had
you.
your issues with some health stuff, just like
Mm-hmm.
everybody does. Everybody
Yeah.
has something. But talk
Mm.
about your fitness routine because you are very, very fit and you're small. I mean,
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm 5'2". So I'm 5'2". I'm essentially a size two. I mean, I think women get confused about what you look like in the pump in the gym, right? And the best lighting, and then what you actually look like on the street. I mean, when I started this business and I started getting noticed, I was nervous that people were going to look at me and be like, that's her. Because in real life, right, I don't walk around fully pumped up. I don't have crazy low levels of body fat. We mostly we mostly look like normal people in real life. But I think the reality is that if it really was that easy to be fit, everyone would be. If it really was as simple as picking up a dumbbell that was too heavy and you changing your entire body, then more people would be more fit. And to get to this place where I'm at, where I put on almost 10 pounds of muscle, frankly, it's taken me almost 10 years. Like there's nothing not purposeful on that journey. And once again, if it was as simple as just taking more testosterone, plenty of people would just abuse testosterone. And there's plenty of other steroids that other people, right, dip into. And so I think we have to call a spade a spade. You can train 6 days a week, you can still eat minimally, and you might not even see your body change. All of this is so focused, so dedicated. I'm now training only about 3 or 4 times a week. I don't need to track every little thing I consume, but I also understand that if I want to see change in the mirror, I have to make sure everything's lining up. My macros need to be on point, my micronutrients, so I'm feeling as good as possible, and I need to have that progressive overload. So if you are walking into the gym or your home gym and you're winging it, there's no chance you're going to get bulky from muscle. If you're winging it in the kitchen, you can 100% get bulky from fat gain. And unfortunately, that's just the reality unless you have insane genetics.
I like to think of
Mm,
the things that we try to the services that we provide, Sarah,
mm,
is there's a massive return on investment. When
yeah.
people invest in their health with you, they're getting that return, right? And that's what you're referring to with the advanced women.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think so often they sell themselves short. They sell short this transformation. What a difference it makes in your life if you don't have to nap every day at 3. What a difference it makes when actually if your husband is injured, you can pick him up, right? When your child is hurt, you can pick them up easily and get them into a car seat by yourself. I mean, some of these things are physical, you know, but the others are mental, not dreading every single Friday night because you know that you're going to binge, not dreading going out to dinner with your one friend Becky because she's a terrible influence. You always get too drunk and you can't say no. I mean, some of these things are things that you are constantly up against, right? And the exhaustion of not managing them. And that's really a mindset concern. It's an identity problem. And that's why you need a coach, frankly, who's going to tackle those issues with you instead of just one who's going to look at your food diary and say, your macros look fine. Talk to you next week. Like, you need more than that. And you also need the person and the program that will build off of the foundation that you've already created, right? We're not talking about getting your butt to the gym. You're already motivated. You're already disciplined. We're not talking about teaching you how to deadlift. We're talking about how you bring together all these different pieces. You stop getting in your own way. You stop self-sabotaging and you actually understand which inputs are worth your time. Most of the women we work with are full-time working mothers. Time is a huge asset. So why do I want you in the gym for 45 minutes if it's not actually going to get you closer to where you want to be?
Well, you in your 20s from the earlier shows where you weren't Sarah Strong by Sarah, you were Sarah
Yeah.
Granetz, and
Yeah.
your identity changed.
Yeah.
Weave that
Yeah.
into where we're going because just tell everybody because maybe they're new to the show and they haven't heard that previous episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was always a runner. And then I unfortunately ran myself into almost nothing. I had treatment for professional treatment for an eating disorder. And when I was in treatment, I literally had the moment where I said, I can no longer do this. I can't be in this room. I can't be, if you, when you have treatment, it's almost always in a group setting. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to change. And that was when everything changed for me. It wasn't like I was all of a sudden healed, but in that moment, and I know now, I was choosing a different version. I was choosing that new identity. And I said, enough is enough. We're moving on. And I started to put the pieces back together of how I was going to truly move on from that. And I think that on sometimes smaller levels, but that's ultimately what the women that I coach, the women that I work with are struggling with. They want to be this new, different version of themselves, and they keep picking the old one. They just can't let it go. The self sabotage comes in, and it's not about hitting rock bottom, but it is about having that moment where you say, I am picking something different. And so, yes, it's your habits that are derailing you, but it's the habits that are tied to your identity. And you're still identifying as this person who isn't fit, who doesn't like the gym, who thinks tracking is too hard, who thinks they're, too busy to work out or eat healthy. And until you choose to identify as, Tom 2.0, Sarah 2.0, the person who doesn't have space for that bullshit, for those excuses, that's what keeps you stuck. And that's why this journey is so much of a mindset journey. And why, frankly, you need more than just a 22-year-old who's lost 25 pounds and kept it off to actually coach you.
When you were stuck in your identity,
Mm,
how did you get out of it? How did you change yourself from that skinny runner to
mhm.
Sarah Strong by Sarah?
I mean, I think it's a cliche, but I was literally scared straight. And I think the other piece of it was that I just started asking myself, what would a healthy person do in this situation, right? If I was hungry, if I wanted to work out, like what would a healthy person do? And I just started saying, okay, a healthy person would do this, a healthy person would do that. Someone without an ED past would pick this. And that made it very easy for me to pick and make that new path forward. And using the people in my life who, once again, maybe didn't have any of that history with food. And so you do the same thing on this fitness journey, right? Maybe there's someone in your life who works out no matter what. Maybe there's someone in your life who tracks her food and doesn't make it a big thing. Maybe there's someone in your life who orders a mocktail no matter what, regardless of the situation. Maybe there's a friend who wears whatever she wants and you want more of that. I don't give a crap about other people. You do what you think they would do. And the more you practice, it's reps. It's just like in the gym. The more reps you get in, the easier and the more second nature it becomes. And then you're literally rewiring your brain, those neural pathways, right? You don't become stressed and then eat emotionally. You get stressed, you go for a walk. A friend, triggers you maybe, and pick a different choice. Once you start choosing different habits because you've identified as this other person, everything else falls into place.
Your takeaway is, and I'll give you the signal when we got to go.
For sure. So I think ultimately for anyone listening, if you've been waiting to invest in coaching, even if it's not my program, do your freaking homework because there are a lot of coaches out there who don't have the credentials. They're going to be phoning it in and they don't truly care at the end of the day. And for you, if you are more advanced, if you've been active your whole life, you truly do want a team of educated women in your corner rooting for you. And so for us, that's what we do in Lean and Liberated. We're going to do the physical transformation, but also the mental transformation that you need to make everything we talked about today possible. Because you can get your dream body, but if you're not addressing what's happening in your mind, it's still not going to be enough. And so for us, we're going to focus on that whole journey for you and really show you what you're capable of, what's possible, while educating you in the process. Because a good coach shouldn't have you stay on forever. A good coach should have you temporarily teach you everything they know and then set you up for success.
Sarah Granetz is the bomb. Healthier and Stronger with Sarah, over 300,000 followers on Instagram. And she's been with us for a few years now. And when she first started, it was her and her husband. Now it's her, her husband, and 20 other coaches. What's that tell you? Sarah Granitz is a strength, fitness, and nutrition coach who knows her game. The first episode that she was with us, she talks about her journey as a fashion woman and her eating disorder, as she mentioned a little bit during today's episode. Go check that one out. They're all on Spotify. They're all on the website. They're all there. Sarah Granite, Tom Matt Show. But that was the first one, Strong by Sarah. And it was just great. Again, her Instagram account, strong.by.sarah, is phenomenal. Check it out. You will not be ashamed of anything. And she's just greatness. Until next time, everybody, we'll talk to you soon. I'm Tom Matt. They call me Papa Tom. We'll see you next week. Peace out. Love y'all. Go green.